Hey everyone, welcome to this video. I'm Laura123 and this is going to be a book themed video. I've got so much bookish stuff happening in this video. So first of all, I'm going to be showing you my TBR for the month of July, and it's a big one. I have a big pile of books that I plan on reading in the month of July. Also, I'm going to be showing you some new TBR games. I'm really excited about this. I have been inspired from a few booktubers that I watch. Kit Kats Can Read, Pages with Page, there's a few others as well, and they like kind of, make their TBR a bit more exciting by kind of adding in some games, like to choose a book from their collection, and I think that's a really fun idea. So I'll be showing you not only the actual games that I'm going to be playing, but also what books get chosen. So that's coming up, and also at the end of the video I'll be quickly going over my reading wrap up for the last couple of months, books that I've been reading, and just like a brief, like quick description of each one, and if I liked it or not, etc. Normally I was doing like reading wrap up videos every month, but unfortunately with life and stress and stuff going on in my personal world as such, I haven't been able to film any kind of monthly reading wrap ups, but I did want you all to know what books I have been reading. So yeah, basically that's what is happening in this video. So if you enjoy watching, which I hope you do, please click like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel. That would be awesome. Oh, and hey, don't forget to check out my other channel, Laura123 ASMR. On that channel I do videos to help people like myself with anxiety, insomnia, kind of like relaxation, chill videos. So yeah, links down below for that. So come and check out my other channel as well. Okay, so are you ready to see what books I've chosen to read this month? Now, I've got to be honest, this is something new for me. I don't tend to normally do TBRs as such. I am quite a mood reader. I'm kind of like that person who just will look at my bookcases and I'm like, do I fancy this? Do I fancy that? And just kind of do that. But I thought I'd try something different this month. So I have chosen some books. And if you look at these big stack of books and think, you're not going to get through all those, Laura, maybe I won't. Maybe it's a bit ambitious. But however, most months I do get through, I don't know what, between like 12, 15 books roughly a month. So it depends on certain things like what's going on in my life and stuff, and also how big the book is. Like if it's only a small book, I'll get through it quite quick. If it's a big chunky one, it will obviously take me longer. And then yeah, maybe if I'm a bit naughty and I'm in Waterstones and I find another book, that'll add in. And yeah, but I'll mainly, as I say, read around 12, 15 books a month. So that's why I have chose a lot of books to show you in this TBR. Now, some of these are brand new books I've only got recently. Some of these have been on my bookcase for a little while. I've also mixed up genres as well. I didn't just want to read the same type of book. I've been reading a lot of kind of like dark thrillers lately, and I do love thrillers, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, I'm not right in the right mental place at the moment for like dark thrillers. I've just literally finished reading Grady Hendrix' new book, The Final Girl, was it The Final Girl Support Group? Did I like it? It was okay. I started to really like it and then it just went a bit bizarre and a bit weird, so I did kind of skim it to the end. But anyway, but that was quite dark, and I don't know, I just felt like this month I don't want a whole month of thriller, so that's why I've kind of mixed things up a bit. So a few kind of lighter, happier reads, and well, you'll see. Let me just show you. There's no point in telling you. I must just show you the books that I've selected. The glasses are going on, so you know that I'm in business when the glasses go on. So the first book, in no particular order, by the way, the first book I've chosen to read in the month of July is this one here. So I literally picked this up the other day. Heard so many good things about this book, and I've not read The Henna Wars. You can see a picture of that on the cover, on the back cover there, sorry. But it's supposed to be really good as well, so if I like this one I might check out that one. But anyway, this cover is just, it's just so cute, like it's just adorable. And so yeah, it's called Hanny and Issue's Guide to Fake Dating. And it's by, I hope I say this name properly because I get really paranoid that I say names wrong. Like I'm not very good at pronunciation, but I'll try my best. Abidar Jagaridar. Is that how you'd say that? Anyway, that's how I say it, so I tried my best. I'm going to tell you what it's about. Easygoing and popular, Hanny Khan has it all until she comes out as bisexual and her friends don't believe her. An academic overachiever, issue D, has a lot to prove, but her shot at head girl relies on being popular. Their solution, pretend to be dating, even though they hardly know each other and definitely don't like each other. But as they get closer, things get messy. Can two Bengali girls find happily ever after, even when the odds are stacked against them? I just think it sounds super, super, super cute. And yeah, so that's my first book to show you. The second one is a book I've had on my bookcase for ages and ages and ages, and it's by Rainbow Rowell. I absolutely love Rainbow Rowell's books. Wait, I'm just trying. Oh yeah, that was my favourite one, Attachments. I really, really enjoyed Attachments. Fangirl was good. The Carry On series. I've got the new one coming out. I think it's it's coming out in the next few weeks. I think it's been on pre-order for ages. But yeah, I think Rainbow Rowell is a great author, and I can't believe I've had this sitting on my bookcase for so long and never read it. So I really want to read it this month. I love this like artwork and stuff, and if you open it up, there's all these like cassette tapes and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to try and give it a go. Eleanor is the new girl in town, and with her chaotic family life, her mismatched clothes and unruly red hair, she couldn't stick out more as she tried. Park is the boy at the back of the bus, black t-shirts, headphones, head in a book. He thinks he's made himself invisible, but not to Eleanor, never to Eleanor. Slowly, steadily, through late night conversations and an ever-growing stack of mixtapes, Eleanor and Park fall for each other. They fall in love the way you do the first time when you're young and you feel as if you have nothing and everything to lose. It says here it's supposed to be like a breathless and achingly good read about love and outsiders. Oh, that's actually a quote from Stephanie Perkins, who's the author of Anna and the French Kiss, which I absolutely freaking loved. That was so good. Love that. Anyway, but yeah, Eleanor and Park. That is that one. Next one I chose is Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett. Basically, this is in my book. This was on, not in, on my bookcase in my bedroom, right? And I lay in bed sometimes, and I just happen to like look at my bookcase. I don't know. I'm a bit of a geek. I enjoy relaxing and looking at the books I have on my bookcase, but I just keep literally being drawn to this like a magnet. I just keep. I don't know. It's weird. So I picked it up, had a look at it, and it doesn't sound the sort of book that I would have probably bought, but I know why I bought it in the first place, and it's because the same author done a book called Night Owls. I'll show you the picture there on the back. Night Owls was so good, and if I'm honest, I can't actually remember like everything about it, but I know I really, really super loved it, and that's why I bought this on like an author buy kind of thing. If I like the author's work, then I'll check out other books they've done. So it says life is a whole lot messier than the movies. Very true. Let's have a look here. Bailey Rydell has found the boy of her dreams. Alex is smart and sweet and loves the same movies as her. The only problem, they haven't actually met. So when Bailey moves to California to be with her dad, who happens to live in the same town as her online crush, she decides to use all her detective skills to track him down. Turns out it's not easy finding someone when you don't even know their real name. And with the irritating but charismatic local surfer distracting her at every turn, will she ever get to meet the mysterious Alex? I wonder if the surfer is Alex, or maybe not. Maybe she'll like the surfer more. Or maybe Alex isn't really Alex. Who knows? But as I say, I really enjoyed Night Owls, so hope this is good. And I've been drawn to this book so much. Next one is a new purchase. I literally got this, like, I think, well, about four or 5 days ago. I pre-ordered it, and I'm really happy that it turned up because I'm excited for it. This sounds so freaking cool. It's a YA kind of thriller horror kind of book. It's called It's Behind You, which is just, how many horrors say that? It's behind you. And it is by an author called Catherine Foxfield, who wrote the book Good Girls Die First. I have read that book a long time ago, and if I'm honest, I can't remember if I like it or not. So I think I'll have to look at my Goodreads, and you know, my hair is a mess, sorry. I have to, what's it doing going? I have to look at my Goodreads to kind of see what review I'd give it in the past and that. But anyway, loving this cover, it's really cool. So it says, welcome to It's Behind You, the reality TV game show that will scare you to death. 5 contestants must spend the night in the dark and dangerous Umber Gorge caves, haunted by a ghost called the Puckered Maiden. Whoever lasts until morning wins £10,000. As the television producers ramp up the fright, secrets start to be revealed. These teenagers have hidden motives for taking part in the show. Could one of them be murder? I just think it sounds so cool, like the reality show of it and the spookiness, and yeah, I just think this is going to be really good. I love the sound of that one. Next one, also a new purchase. This I had on pre-order as well. I like pre-ordering. Waterstones pre-order, me, love it. Always use my Waterstones points card. Always use my discount code, worth looking up online, get a bit of discount. This is Rise to the Sun by Aaliyah Johnson. I actually saw this book mentioned on one of my favourite booktubers channels, The Lovely Books and Bargains. She said about this book, and she was also speaking about her previous book, which was You Should See Me in a Crown. She loved it, I loved it, and yeah, it was a really fun, like, positive read. I hope this is going to be kind of similar. Sweet, funny, and I can't say that word, effervescent. How do you say effervescent?
I don't even know what word you're trying to say.
Effervescent. I can't say it. Look,
I don't even know what word you're trying to
it's
say.
this word. Effervescent. Do you know when you can't say a word? It's so embarrassing. Anyway, but it's supposed to be a good book, is what it's basically all about. I really like Leah Johnson's writing in the last book, as I say. It's really upbeat and fun, and just, yeah, I'm hoping this one is going to be good as well. So it says 3 days, 2 girls, 1 life-changing music festival. Olivia is no stranger to falling in love and being dumped. After the fallout from her last breakup leaves her reeling, she's determined to turn over a new leaf. A fun weekend at a festival will be the perfect start. Tony is grieving the loss of her father and needs to figure out where life will go from here. She's heading back to a music festival that changed her father's life in the hope of finding her way forward. But when the girls collide, they swiftly join forces. But when something goes wrong and the festival is sent into panic, Olivia and Tony find that they need each other more than they've ever imagined. So I don't think it sounds quite as upbeat and fun as the other one, but it sounds sweet, and there's obviously going to be a bit romance, friendship, and, you know, I think it sounds sweet. So that is Rise to the Sun. I'm going to try and say that word one more time because it's going to bug me. Effervescent. Believe it or not, I did get a B in English when I was at college, so yeah, you wouldn't think it, would you? Next up is a book that I got on eBay. I think this has been out for a while. I managed to get a second-hand copy, but to be fair, it's a really good second-hand copy. Like, sometimes you get books on eBay second-hand, you're like, oh, turns up like, you know, ripped pages or whatever. This is in quite good condition, so I'm really happy. Collection of short stories, all about vampires. I love vampires. When I was a teenager, I used to think I was one. Anyway, I was a goth, so, you know. It's called Vampires Get Old, Tales with a Fresh Bite. That's pretty cool. I like that. And it says here, sink your teeth into this. Sorry, I love these little vampire puns that they've used. So basically, I got this because, number one, I like vampires big time. And number two, it's a collection of authors that I really, really like especially the one and only V.E. Schwab, who is... she's V.E. Schwab. She's amazing. She's like literally one of my favorite, in my top 5 favorite authors of all time. I love her books. And apparently her short story that features in this, which I don't know if they've got the name of it here. Hold on. Basically, it's going to be a TV series, so that's pretty cool, isn't it? First Kill, that was it. I follow her on social media and stuff, and she's been putting like photos from like the recording and like the filming and stuff, and how cool is that to just get a little short story made into a series? Like, it's got to be a good story. So as much as I normally read short story books, like, you know, anthologies in order, I think I might have to quickly skip to that and read that one first, because it is Victoria Schwab. So yeah, you got her, you got Julie Murphy. I love Danielle Clayton, really, really like her writing and stuff. So yeah, who else we got here? Laura Ruby, not heard of her. Anyway, collection of short stories all about vampires. Fantastic. I couldn't resist it. Sorry, I couldn't resist it. And next up, well, this is a big one. A big chunky one. Oh, I have to use 2 hands for this. Bill Clinton and James Patterson. This is The President's Daughter. I did want to have a few thrillers, obviously, this month. I didn't just want to be all fluffy, lovey-dovey stuff. But yeah, this is a big, I think it's probably one of the biggest books that I've got here for this month. Well, actually, in my whole bookcase collection, it's one of my biggest books. So I really hope it's not going to take too long to get through. Even though it's a big book, it's like the font of it is quite big, which is good. I like it because my eyes aren't the best, and like when books like really tiny font, I do struggle a bit with reading them. So the fact that this is like big old, you know, font is nice. but yeah, I'm really excited about this one because I really love The President is Missing. I thought it was so good. It was one of my favourite books of the year that I read it, which I can't remember. It was either no, it wasn't last year. It must have been the year before. But anyway, I really loved it so much. And when I heard there was going to be a number 2, I was like, wow. So yeah, this is a kind of political thriller, and I love James Patterson books. I know there's a bit of controversy about him and other authors, etc. But look, every time I've read a James Patterson and whoever book, I've really enjoyed them, so I'll just go with that. Yeah, I like the fact that Bill Clinton's wrote, like, because he obviously was the president at one point, and you know, he knows all the secrets about the White House, what goes on behind the scenes, and yeah, it just gives it more kind of realistic vibe when you're reading a political thriller, I think. So it says here, all presidents have nightmares. This one is about to come true. Matthew Keating, a one-time Navy SEAL and a former US president, has always defended his family as fiercely as he has his country. Now these defences are under attack, and it's personal. Keating's teenage daughter Melanie has been abducted, turning every parent's deepest fear into a matter of national security. As the world watches, Keating embarks on a one-man special ops mission that tests his strengths as a leader, a warrior, and a father. Because Keating knows that in order to save Melanie's life, he will have to put his own on the line. Yeah, I think it's going to be really exciting. Do I wish it was a little bit smaller? Probably, but it's all good. Have to remind myself, got nice big font for me to read, so that's okay. The next one, another thriller. I think this is going to be like in my next 3 or 4 books. I'm so excited about this one, seriously. This is called Falling by TJ Newman. Waterstones proper pimped this out on their website. Like, I literally remember going on the website and just seeing this book all over it. It was like just everywhere. Falling. I think they want you, you know, to buy it, which I did. But yeah, this is a book that you should not read on an aeroplane. Like, if you're abroad, do not read this on the plane. It's not good to. So it says here, you just boarded a flight to New York. There are 143 other passengers on board. What you don't know is that 30 minutes before your flight, your pilot's family was kidnapped. For his family to live, everyone on your plane must die. The only way the family will survive is if the pilot follows his orders and crashes the plane. Enjoy the, I love that, enjoy the flight. Okay. Really, yeah, it's gonna be really like action-packed, exciting, kind of like, you know, happening as it goes. And it says here, heart pounding, heart stopping, buckle up for a completely original edge of your seat thriller that will keep you guessing until the final nail biting pages. Yeah, I'm really hyper about this. So that is that. This one has been on my bookcase for a good few years. I really want to start reading books that I've had for ages, you know, because they just sit around and, you know, I get new books and I read them, and I just, you know, I kind of feel bad for the books that have been like sitting around on my bookcase, you know. What if they feel neglected or unwanted, you know? So I'm, you know, trying to mix new books with older books. So yeah, this one I've got in a charity shop. It says £3, but did I get it in a charity shop? I can't remember. Actually, I'll tell you where I got it. I remember now. I got it in a W.H. Smith book sale. Yeah, it was in anyway, I got that in there. Rachel McIntyre, and it's called Me and Mr. J. Love her red hair, by the way. Where's the red hair? There it is. Nice red hair. Yeah, this is really interesting. So it says, Laura's life is far from perfect, but being an upbeat kind of person, she saves her venting for her diary. It's the only place she can really let out her true feelings about the family, dramas, and hideous bullying she has to face every day. And then a shining light comes out of the darkness. The new, young, and male teacher, Mr. Jagger. The one person who takes Laura seriously and notices her potential. The one person who is kind to her. The one person who she falls madly and hopelessly in love with. The one person who cannot love her back. Can he? Oh, I just think that sounds so good. I can't believe I've had it on the bookcase so long and not read it. But yeah, I'm trying to think like back to when I was a youngster back in the day at school. I didn't have any crushes on my teachers. I know a lot of people do, but there was no teachers that I can think for looking back. Do you know what I mean? I had teachers that I liked, you know, as people and got on with, and I had teachers that I didn't like and couldn't stand being in the classes. But as for like teacher crushes, I didn't really I think the only teacher that I can actually remember being reasonably decent looking was our music teacher, Mr. Nelson. So he was quite young, he was quite friendly, and he kind of, you know, a bit more fun in lessons and stuff. But even he wasn't that great. So I wouldn't go as far as saying I had a crush on him. But anyway, let me know in the comments, by the way, if you ever had a crush on one of your teachers. I would ask Nathan, who's next door, my fiance, for those that are new. But he went to a Catholic school, and his teachers were like nuns and monks. So I don't think you didn't have a crush on any of them, did you?
No.
No.
I think the youngest was probably about 60.
He said the youngest teacher was probably about 60. Okay, anyway, so let me know in the comment section if you have. This is going to be, by the way, my next book. This is literally, I'm holding my next read in my hand. This is by Meg Rossoff, and it's called The Great Godden. I've seen this on like Instagram, and yeah, people just really think it's nice and good and blah blah blah. So when I read about what it was, I was like, actually, that does sound pretty cool. I like the sound of it. And then I saw it in Waterstones, and look, yellow sprayed edges, baby. Look how pretty that book is. I don't know, maybe I'm a total nerd, but I love sprayed edge. I don't know, when I'm reading a book with a sprayed edge, I just enjoy reading it more. Is that really sad? It is a bit sad, isn't it? But anyway, so this is The Great Godden, and it's only going to be a quick read for me. I think that I could even get this done in a day, possibly. It's quite slim, and also, as you can see, the font is reasonably big, very spacious, which is nice for my eyes. So let me tell you about it. It says, this is the story of one family, one dreamy summer, the summer when everything changes. In a sun-drenched house by the sea, teenage brothers and sisters and older cousins fill the golden days with wine and games and planning a wedding. Enter the Goddens, irresistible, charming Kit and Surly, I can't say that, Surly, Silent Hugo. I promise I've got to be in English. Suddenly there's a serpent in paradise, and the consequences will be devastating. So yeah, like a coming of age kind of book. They're saying it's similar to I Capture the Castle, which I've heard of, obviously, but I've never read, so it's quite intriguing. But yeah, I think it sounds a nice kind of summer read, and as I say, really quick for me. That won't take me long at all, and it is going to be my next book. Okay, so next up, I have two more left. This one's got to be in the next like 4 books as well. This is by Cara Thomas, That Weekend, the hardback edition. I love Cara Thomas. Like, honestly, her writing is so good. The Cheerleaders, if you like YA thrillers, honestly, check out The Cheerleaders. It was such a great, fantastic book. And yeah, this is her new one. I actually messaged her on Twitter, and I was like, I sent her a photo of this book, and she retweeted saying it was the first book she'd seen out in the wild as such. Like, I was really happy. Anyway, fangirl moment. I get really excited when authors tweet me and stuff. Is that sad? I don't know, but I do. But yeah, this is, as I say, a YA thriller, and it just sounds really deliciously exciting. It was going to be the perfect weekend. So it says, 3 best friends, a lake house, a secret trip. What could go wrong? 3 went up to the mountain, but only 1 came back. That weekend changes everything. Yeah, this sounds so good. It was supposed to be the perfect prom weekend getaway, but it's clear something terrible's happened when Claire wakes up alone and blooded on a hiking trail with no memory of the past 48 hours. Now, everyone wants answers, most of all Claire. She remembers Friday night, but after that, nothing. And now Kat and Jessie, her best friends, are missing. What happened on the mountain? And where are Kat and Jessie? Claire knows the answers are buried somewhere in her memory, but as she's learning, everyone has secrets, even her best friends, and she's pretty sure she's not going to like what she remembers. Ooh, so good. I love thrillers, honestly. I love thrillers. And the last book I've chosen is Dangerous Women even, by Hope Adams. This I'd never heard of at all. I was in Waterstones the other day, like you do as a bookworm, and I just saw this. They have all their tables beautifully laid out with all their book displays and stuff, and I saw this and I was like, oh my days, that is such a beautiful book cover. Like, it's just gorgeous. I've never heard of Hope Adams. I don't know if she's like a big author and done other books, but I've never read her or anything. It says, on a ship packed with the guilty, how do you prove your innocence? This is a signed copy as well. Let's have a little look see. Oh wow, look at this. Yeah, look, hold on, move that out of the way. Look at that artwork. That is wicked. All the beautiful clouds, like stormy clouds, and the waves, the little boat there. Really, oh, there's a signature. Hope Adams. Yeah, this is actually based on a true story. So it's a fiction, but it's kind of loosely based on a true story. It's set in London, 1841. It says I think that's the Rajab. Is that an H or a B? I don't know what that is. I think it's a B. Maybe I need an eye test. I'll call it the Rajab. We'll think it's a B. Anyway, the Rajab sails for Australia. Aboard are 180 women convicted of petty crimes. Daughters, sisters, mothers. They'll never see home or family again. Despised and damned, they have only one another. As the boat sails further from land, the women spend their days working on a patchwork quilt of rare beauty until, in the middle of the unforgiving sea, a young mother is murdered. As the desperate hunt for a killer begins, everyone on board is a suspect. It says here it's based on a real life voyage of a convict ship. It's a thrilling book, deeply moving mystery, narrated by a group of women and as unforgettable as the events they describe. So not only have you got that kind of thriller aspect, the whodunit kind of thing, but you've got all these female characters, and it's set on the boat, which I love, like, you know, those kind of boat themed books. I'm a bit of a weirdo. It says here, a locked room mystery to end all locked room mysteries. That sounds cool. What else have we got? I love looking at the quotes from people, you know. Thoroughly compelling, fast-paced story of murder and redemption, combines historical fiction with gripping entertainment, intriguing murder mystery. Yeah, I think it sounds pretty cool. So yeah, okay, so they are the books that I have chosen for my TBR this month. Now I will add I'm really gonna try and do this, like, obviously I've got this video to kind of go back to if I forget what books I chose, but look, I am a mood reader. Things could change, okay? I'm gonna try and go with these books. But, you know, as I say, something new could come out I fancy, or I could just look at my bookcase and think, actually, I fancy that one. So it could change. But I am going to try and read these. I might not even get through them all. I might get through all of them. I don't know. We'll have to find out. Now, carry on watching, because I'm going to be doing something with Nathan. That sounds really ominous there. I'm going to be doing a game, there we go, with Nathan, my fiance, who is going to help me do Let the Dice Decide. Oh yeah, so I've been inspired by various booktubers that I watch, including Pages with Paige, Kit Kats Can Read. Like, I love people doing these TBR games. There's another girl, I can't remember for the life of me what her channel's called, I'm really sorry, but she's really nice, and she's got one of these like library trolleys, and she like spins it round and picks her TBR. Like, things like that are just really fun, because, like, yeah, you know, me looking through my bookcases to pick my TBR is great. But sometimes I just want that fun element of mystery and surprise, you know. And I thought, hey, let's do my own game. So I asked Nathan, and we had to kind of think about it. And he said, I said I want to do something with dice. I want to, you know. So here are my dice. these are 2 dice that I have, and here are the boxes. Now, what I did, I'll show you more in a minute. Obviously, you will see this take place, but I just want to show you really quickly. I basically went round all my bookcases in my house, and there's quite a few. I wrote down all of the names of the books that I haven't read. Okay, I haven't wrote down books that I've read, because I don't do rereads really. So yeah, I literally wrote them all down, put them on a bit of paper, obviously, cut them up. Me and Nathan folded them up, and we sorted them out into these 4 little containers. Okay, so I've got the fantasy, sci-fi, horror. So that's that. And then I've got the general fiction, thriller, mystery, crime, and my book series that I own, okay? And if you want to find out more, and of course what books were chosen, carry on watching, because you'll see the game. Let the dice decide. Coming up now. Okay, so let me tell you quickly about my brand new TBR game. It is called Let the Dice Decide. Yay! Anyway, so I'm going to explain this, and then I'm going to do it with the help of my lovely fiance, Nathan. So first of all, I have 2 dice. These are the dice that are going to decide. So I'll pop them over there for a moment. Now here we have 4 boxes, okay? So this one is filled with names of all the books that I own that are thriller, crime, mystery. By the way, before this happened, I went through all my bookcases and wrote down the names of all of my books. there's a lot of books. Anyway, so all this box is filled with thriller mysteries. We've cut them out, folded them over, etc. Right. Then in this one, there's all books that are general fiction. That could be everything from like romance to, well, just basically general fiction. Then in this one we have books that I've got like series, so there's not as many in this box, but I do own a few series that I've not yet read. And over here we have my books that are fantasy, sci-fi, horror kind of themed. Okay, so you get me? Do you like the decoration, by the way? How cool is this? I know dogs have nothing to do with books, but I just really like these stickers. So yeah, so let me explain how you do it. All right, so basically this is where these come in, these 2 dice. So basically, I am going to roll. I'm going to do it now, but this isn't for real, okay? This is just to kind of, you know, explain what you're going to be doing, or I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to roll the 2 dice and see what we get. So that is a 6, that is a 2, and that is 8. And I'm terrible at maths, but even I figured that out. Now, if you can see, on these boxes here, we have numbers. Aha. So on this box, the thriller mystery one, we've got 2, 3, and 4. So if I was to roll the dice and it would be 2, 3, or 4, Nathan is going to take a mystery book from this one, well, a bit of paper that says the name of the book, obviously. Then, you know, if I was to roll it 5, 6, 7 from general fiction, I think you're getting the idea, right? 8, 9, 10 would be from fantasy, sci-fi, horror, etc. And the series would be if I get an 11 or a 12. So if you're wondering why there's no 1, it's because obviously if you're rolling 2 dice, you're never going to get that. Haha. So should we do it now?
Do it.
I'm excited. So this is going to be one of my books that I read in the month, okay? And it's really exciting. It's a great way of reading books that I've not read for ages, you know, that I've never read, that have been sitting on my bookcase for so long. And it's fun.
And what are you hoping for?
Look, all of these books that I own,
no, but
I love.
Don't cop out. What are you hoping for?
Don't cop out.
Pick one. What do you want here, right?
Well, general fiction is really great because it could be literally any type of story, romance or whatever.
Yeah.
But then again, I haven't read a fantasy for a while. I've been reading a lot of thrillers, and I do fancy a little bit of fantasy.
So you're hoping for an 8, a 9, or a 10?
Yeah.
Let's do this then.
Okay, so do you want to hold the phone while I roll? Or actually, I can roll.
You can roll like that and then.
Okay. But I'm right-handed. Might be a different result.
It won't be a different result.
Give it a shake. Right, you ready?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm nervous. Let the dice decide.
It's
2 5s. I've got a 10, so let's have a look. Oh! Look, 8, 9, and 10.
What you wanted.
I really
now,
wanted a fantasy, sci-fi, or horror.
So now these boxes for this month disappear along with their dogs.
And they will be back next month.
Yeah. So here we go.
Can you just say how cool are these stickers?
They're very, very something, yeah.
What do you mean, very something?
Here we go. So look, inside.
We have literally. Should I give them a jiggle?
I'll jiggle them.
Don't you jiggle anything.
Right, so I'm going to mix them up and I'm going to pick one.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I have you on camera? There we go. I still think we're like faking it.
There you go. Look, I'm just going to pick this one here.
Okay.
Okay, so you keep that down there.
Right. Okay.
So this is your first book.
Oh, it is. Ow.
So I'll hold it for you.
Right. It is called. Of all the names of all the books that I own, it is Claimed by the Demon.
Oh.
That is in the box room. So I've got several bookcases. This is from the bookcase in the box room, like the spare room. So I had to write what room they're in, otherwise I wouldn't find the books.
Yeah, we'll be looking for
so I know what one this one is. I'm going to go grab it. So hold on a second. So this is the book. I've had this literally years. I went through a stage of reading these. Do you remember at the library?
Yeah.
So they're the Mills and Boons Nocturne range.
So the sexy book.
Kind of ooh la la books, but with like a gothic, dark fantasy mix. Honestly, they are good. I haven't read them for years, but they're like standalones and some are series. But yeah, I think I'll pick this up in like a charity shop or something for 50p.
From the library sale, because it's got the library sticker on the side.
Where? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I think I did get that, yeah, from the library sale, yeah. So yeah, this is Claimed by the Demon by Durana Durgin. It's not what I imagined as my first TBR, but it's fun.
A bit of sexiness.
To survive, they must depend on each other. Oh, okay. Well, I'll give it a go. I haven't read one of these books, as I say, for a long time, so it'd be quite fun to kind of delve into it. They're a bit ooh la la, so expect me to be a bit. Yeah. That's like,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Anyway, so thank you to Nathan for doing this. And now we're going to do something also fun, to pick another mystery book for the month. Some books I choose myself, some books we're going to do with like a little game, as I've been inspired by the booktubers that I watch. So we're going to go in to the spare room. Nathan is going to turn me round.
Spin you round.
Spin me round, not turn me round. Spin me round a few times. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm just going to point at a random book and see what it is. And these books in that room have been in there the longest out of all my bookcases.
They're in them boxes as well.
Well, then but whenever I get to that one, I'll know that it's already been read and we'll just do it again.
Okay.
It's fine. It's sorted. Right, let's go in the other room. Ah. Okay, so I'm in the spare room now, and I'm going to say I'm not going to point at the bottom 2 rows because they're my collection of Sweet Valley High, Sweet Dreams from when I was like a kid and teenager.
So basically, you're going for the 2 shelves that are hard to reach. 2
shelves that are hard to reach. I'm just going to point upwards because I'm really short.
I'm going to spin you round and you just got to point up.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Right, close your eyes, please.
Right.
Make sure your eyes are closed. Yep, she's not cheating. So what we'll do is I'll take her by the shoulder.
Where am I going? Oh,
spin.
Don't make me dizzy,
spin.
Do it slowly.
Spin. One more spin.
Do it slowly.
One more spin. One more spin.
Jeez.
One more spin.
No,
one more spin.
No more.
One more. That's it. No, that's right. Now point.
Oh, I feel dizzy now.
Now point.
Right. Da, da, da.
Right. So it's that book in the top corner.
Anton Beck. One Enchanted Evening. I can't reach it.
You can't reach it. Well, I can't reach it for you because I've got the phone.
Hold on, press pause. Okay. This is the book of all the books I've got.
Yeah.
This is the one that I remember getting this actually. It was £1 in the charity shop. Anton Beck, who is a dancer here in England on what's it called? Strictly Come Dancing. I think he's going to be a judge as well. But anyway, I bought it because I love the cover. I mean, even though it's not your type of book.
So it's judge a book.
It's it's a lovely cover. Yeah. It looks a bit of I don't know. It sounds cool. It's about dancing, glitz, glamour, scandal, and secrets. Very different than I love this cover. Oh no. Oh, sorry. I so thought I tipped them all out.
No, I'd put the lids back on.
Ooh, that was lucky. Yeah, and I did do that. So these are my 2 random chosen by games video. Yeah. I don't know what to say, really. I don't know. I can't say I'm mega excited for either of them, but I own them.
Yeah.
I've got them for a reason.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll enjoy them.
You've already picked them, so you've got no choice now.
Exactly. So there we go. Join us next month for another round of...
spinning you round.
Spinning me round till I feel really lightheaded and dizzy. Yeah. That's always fun.
And the dice decide.
And the dice decide. It's cool. Right, okay. Okay, did you enjoy the 2 TBR games? I did. I thought it was really good fun. And yeah, it's now time for me to tell you about the books that I read in May and June. Now, I'm not going to go like into big old detail about every book because, you know, this video will be way too long. You'll get bored, etc., etc. If you want to find out more about these books, you know, please go on like Goodreads, look them up. I love the Goodreads app. By the way, if you're on there, come and follow me. I'll put the link down below to my Goodreads app page and you can see what books I've read, want to read, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's a great app and you know, you find out about the books, you get other people's views, there's different like book clubs and things, and yeah, it's just a really cool app. I love it. But anyway, so if you want to find out more about the books I mentioned, just go on there or Google them up or however you know, find out information about the books, do it. But I'm just literally going to tell you about like the, you know, quick little summary about the books that I read. And I really am sorry, as I say, that I didn't do actual, you know, monthly reading wrap-ups, but you know, life is stressful sometimes and I just couldn't get around to filming them. But I'm going to tell you now what I read and what ratings I gave the books that I mentioned. So the first book I read in May, I've got my other phone here, so I'm just going to kind of go through this. So the first book in May was Pretty Rude by Rebecca Elliott. I gave that a 5-star rating. That was so funny. She's just a great character. I hope they do more books with her. Like, there's been 2 already. I hope there'll be a number 3 because she's such a kind of larger than life character. She's a wannabe like comedian, so you get lots of humor in it, but also like body positive stuff as well. Really made me laugh out loud, that book. I love it. So check out out Rebecca Elliott's Pretty Rude. I'll give that a 5-star. The next book I read, I was actually sent as like a book to review and stuff. I really didn't like it, and I wanted to like it, but I just really didn't. It was by Catriona Ward. It's called The Last House on Needless Street. It was just really weird. And it's one of those books, I think, by reading other people's reviews and stuff, you either really loved or you really hated. I read a few other reviews that literally said what I was thinking about the book. So yeah, I don't know. It was kind of a creepy horror thriller, just weird. And I don't know. It's just weird. Talking cat. Yeah, so that was that. I didn't like that one. I only gave that a 2-star. Next book I read was The Boy I Am by K.L. Kettle. I was actually recommended this from one of my lovely viewers. By the way, always feel free to like give me book recommendations. I do take your recommendations on board. You know, if you leave a comment saying, oh, I think you'll like this book or that series or stuff, like I do, you know, look them up and see if they're my cup of tea. Unfortunately, this one wasn't. I felt really bad. Well, I just couldn't get into it at all. Like I don't know, it was just something I wasn't feeling or anything, so I just kind of stopped reading it. I only gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. Next book I also didn't enjoy. Yeah, there was a few books in the beginning of May that I just wasn't feeling. House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. Yeah, it was just weird. Like I started off the first couple of chapters really liking it. I mean, the cover, if I show you here, was absolutely beautiful. Like, it was such a beautiful book cover, and people are raving about it. Like, overall on Goodreads, it's got like 4.15, so like really high ratings. But I just didn't like it, I'm afraid. Next one I read was Whisper Down the Lane by Clay McLeod Chapman. Once again, I only gave it a 2. I didn't like it. I really wanted to like it. I thought I would like it. And it was like based on true events, Satanism, and, you know, like just, yeah, random stuff like that. Satanism and children and cults. And I just thought, oh, it sounded dark and interesting, but I couldn't not get into it. I had to DNF that one, I'm afraid. So yeah, only 2 for that. Next one I read, I was also disappointed in, 2 stars for Double Down by Gwenda Bond. So Double Down is part of the series of Lois Lane. So it's like a young Lois Lane. And I enjoyed that element of it, like young Lois and Superman and all that. That was fun. But like the story just didn't grip me. So much so I kind of got rid of number 3. I didn't even try and read number 3 of the series because I didn't want to kind of follow on the series. But yeah, I only gave that a 2. Next one I did like, I give it a 4 stars. So that was The Firekeepers Daughter by Angeline Bowley, however you say that, sorry. That was really cool. I actually really liked that one. That was good. I didn't give it a 5-star because I thought it was a little bit predictable. I did like enjoy it, finding out about like native Indians, like American Indians and stuff, and the heritage and the spiritual stuff. And then there was also like the you know, the thriller aspect of it. But yeah, I did find it a little bit predictable, and that's why it went down to a 4, not 5. But overall, it was good, and it's going to be a series on Netflix, apparently, which is pretty cool. I'll definitely watch it. Next book I read, I gave a 5 stars to, by Karen David, What We're Scared Of. I'm going to show you a picture there. This was really good. It was about 2 twins. There was... Obviously, it was like dealing with a tough subject like anti-Semitism, but there was also some humour in it as well. One of the sisters was like a stand-up comedian and stuff, so there was like a nice bit of humour mixed with like serious subjects, and really good. Really enjoyed it, and the kind of family element of it, and how they were kind of not that close, but then as the story goes on, they do get closer, and you know, also still remain like their own people and very different. But yeah, really like that one. 5 stars. Next one. Oh, that was weird. Yeah, I remember that one. By Marina Enriquez. It's really odd. It's called The Dangers of Smoking in Bed, and it was a collection of short stories. This is not the cover I had. This is the cover that, like, I don't know if it's in America and stuff, but in England we had this really creepy cover where this girl's face had like, I don't know, worms coming out of her eyes, and it was quite horrific actually. But I mean, I thought it was cool because I like gothic artwork, but I could see why people would be like, "Ooh, that's a bit creepy." But yeah, I started to read the stories. I tried each one, and each one I just, oh, it just freaked me out. It was just too weird even for me, so I only give it 2 stars. I just didn't bother reading the rest of the stories. The next book I read, I gave a 3 stars to, by William Hussey, The Outrage. I really was gutted that I didn't like this book, because I loved his other book. Was it Hideous Beauty? Hideous Beauty was without a doubt a 5-star read for me. I loved it. This one I just didn't like. It just felt, I don't know, I felt like he was pushing his kind of own political agenda that he like political agenda, there we go, into the story, because obviously I follow him on Twitter, I see what he writes, these political views and stuff, and I just felt like the story felt a bit like his own political views going into the story. I don't know, that's just my view, but I didn't really like the characters either. I wasn't really fussed about what happened to them, to be fair. I ended up just DNFing it. I didn't really care what happened to them, so I give it a 3-star, because as I say, I do like his writing style, but it just wasn't for me. Next book I didn't particularly like either. Everyone Dies Famous in a Small Town. That was a collection of short stories by the same author, Bonnie Sue Hitchcock. I really thought this was going to be good. I think I was kind of bought on the cover. I think the cover was like really super sweet. I was like, oh, and I like the idea of stories like happening in small towns and like people knowing everyone's business and that. But I just didn't. I think there was like one story like that I really liked, and the others were just a bit boring. And I was like, so only a 2-star. May was not a good month for my reading. Next book I read was The Yearbook by Holly Bourne. Now, Holly Bourne books I literally love. I love Holly Bourne. I love her writing style. I love the way she gives the characters real depth. Like, you really get to know her characters in her books, and I just love her sassy kind of style, and I just really want to like this one, and I just didn't. It was okay. Like, I could see where she was going with it, and you know, maybe it was just not for me, but I'll give it a 3-star, and I only give it a 3 because it's Holly Bourne, and I felt awful just giving it a 2, but really it wasn't great in my opinion. These are just my opinions, by the way. Like, everyone's got their own views on books and stuff. Next book I read was Sister Song. I say I read, but I started, well, it's by Lucy Holland. I started to read it. Everyone was raving about it. It had the most awesome cover there, as you can see, Sister Song. It wasn't my cup of tea from the start. It's not my kind of genre or anything. I don't know, I was kind of sucked in by the cover and everyone's raving reviews, and yeah, it just didn't work for me. I was too out of my depth with it. I just couldn't get into it at all, so I did just stop reading it and sold it on eBay, like you do. I didn't give it a rating because I thought, you know, it's not a bad book, it's just not for me. And yeah, the next book I read, was Then This Is Now, there we go, by S.E. Hinton. So S.E. Hinton done the most amazing book called The Outsiders. If you've not read The Outsiders, where have you been? It's a classic book. It's a great book. I love it. I've got the very special edition anniversary version of it, and it's just one of those stories that just really touched me. I love the characters, like Pony Boy, and just like, oh, I love it so much. So I found out that she'd done lots of other books that I didn't realise, so I went on eBay and picked up a few. I've got a few others in my spare room that I haven't read yet, but this was only a little quick read, like really small. It took me like a day to read, if that, and it was really good. Yeah, I gave it a 4-star. Trying to remember. Oh yeah, so it was since childhood, Byron and Mark have been close as brothers, but so they're really close friends, basically, these guys, and then, you know, one gets into this, one gets into that, and their friendship changes. And anyway, it was really good. I really liked that one. 4 stars for that. Now we got a 5-star coming up now, which was the brilliant Circus of Wonders by Elizabeth McNeil. She did The Doll Factory, which I have got, but I have not read yet. I hope to read at some point this year, but yeah, this was great. Like, it was magical and beautiful and touching, and just like, oh, I love books about circuses. And this girl had like marks on her skin, and you know how people looked at her and how it made her feel. And her father like sold her to a circus, and there's romance, and it was just really good. I loved it. So 5 stars for the amazing Circus of Wonders. Love that book. Next one I had was The Swap by Megan Scholl. Now, I didn't actually read this. This was an audio book, which I listened to. I don't really listen to audiobooks that much, but now and again I do. It was okay. I just think it was a bit too young for me. I found it on like YouTube, like free audiobooks, and I was like, yeah, I'll listen to that while I'm working or while I'm doing bits and pieces. But I think it was just a bit too young for me. So yeah, it wasn't my cup of tea. I give it a 2 because I was like, Next book was Sue Woolman's I Know You Did It. This one was weird. Like, it wasn't bad, but it was very predictable. I like young adult thrillers, but I think some of them are just way too predictable. Maybe it's because I read so many thrillers that I just kind of guess what's going to happen. But I did remember a few twists at the end that were quite good, so that's why I kind of bumped it up to a 3. I do prefer her other books, which if I click on her name, hold on. Oh yeah, Line About Last Summer was good. See How They Lie was good. And I love Dead Popular as well. But this one was just, it was okay. Next book I started to, here's the thing, it's called The Passenger by Ulrich Alexandra Boswich. Now, this is actually based on a true story, and I got this book because it was about like the war and the Holocaust and things like that, and I am Jewish, so I do like to read like Jewish history kind of books and stuff, of fiction but based on fact, if that makes sense, right? And this is the thing, right? The book could have been so good, but at the very beginning of the book, like on the first page, they had a picture of the guy, like this guy, and they had like all his information. This is what happened to him, and this is what, and I was like, well, that's kind of ruined the story for me now. I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen in his life. And so that's kind of what put me off. So as I was reading it, it was wrote beautifully, and it, you know, it was really emotional and touching. But I was just thinking, well, I know what's going to happen because I've read it at the very beginning of the book, you know, like it kind of ruined it. So that's why I had to just stop reading it, because I knew what was going to happen. But yeah, I do recommend it. If you don't read the first page, don't read about his life, don't look at it, and just read the story for what it is. I wish I would have done that. Then I would have carried on reading it. So I didn't give it any rating because of that purpose. Next book, Becky Albertelli's Kate in Waiting. Now, I'd heard about this book through my lovely friend Kit Kats Can Read. She absolutely loved it, and I was like, oh, you know, she loved it. I normally like similar books and she reads and likes as well. Unfortunately, I didn't like it. I wanted to like it because I love Becky Albertelli books. I've read so many of her books and just really love her writing and stuff, but I don't know, I just got really bored with this book. Halfway through, I was thinking, I really don't care what happens. I'm not interested. I just find it a bit boring. So I did stop reading. I gave it a 2, which was maybe a bit unfair, but hey, I'm a harsh judge. The next book I read was one that I have literally been after for ages. Yeah, so it's by TJ Clune, called The House in the, I think it's Cerulean Sea. This one here, everyone's raved about it for so long. I had such difficulty getting this in England, like it's ridiculous. I tried eBay, I tried this, I tried that. Anyway, eventually I found it on Waterstones website. I had it ordered in and everything. So after the whole kind of drama of getting it, I sat there that night. I was like, yes, I finally have this in my hand. And I was like, I don't really like it, which is really sad and disappointing, but it's the way it goes, you know, sometimes. It was really clever, but it just, the writing style didn't suit me. I was a bit mixed up with what was going on, and I don't know what it was. I wanted to really enjoy it, but I just really didn't. So yeah, that was only a 2 for me. I'm so sorry. And so the last book, oh no, actually no, I've got a couple of, no, I've got 2 more books that I read in May. So the next one is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, the one and only, the book goddess. If you've not read a Taylor Jenkins Reid book, seriously, you need to. She's just such an amazing author. She makes her characters feel so real. You know, Daisy Jones and the Six, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, like these just are just, to me, classic books. I love her books, and this one was really, really good as well. I didn't like it as much as the 2 that I've just mentioned because they're just really special to me, but I did really, really enjoy it as well. Really good. Loving the characters, the family connection, and everything. Like, it was really like family secrets coming out, and romance and drama, glitz and glamour, and just everything. I loved it. So 5 stars out of 5 for Malibu Rising. And the last book I read in May was a little quick read called Notting Hill Carnival, a West Side Story by Candice Carty-Williams. So I picked this up in Waterstones for like £1, one of the little quick read books. It was so tiny, and it was okay. So she'd done the book Queenie, which I have to say I didn't enjoy. People loved it. Must be me. I don't seem to like books that everyone else loves, but I didn't really enjoy Queenie that much, to be fair, but I did actually enjoy this one better. And I think if this would have been a longer book, I'd have actually really gotten into the characters like even more. So yeah, it was pretty cool, and it was, you know, it was interesting. And this girl, like, she used to be in a gang, she got away from the gang, she kind of started up a new life, and, you know, kind of improved her life, and then kind of gets sucked back into her old friendship groups and the gang life. And it was interesting. There's also a bit of romance there, which was a little bit cheesy, kind of like insta romance, like you fall in love with someone with like an hour. It's not going to happen. Well, maybe it happens, I don't know. Not to me, it hasn't happened. But like it just felt a bit rushed, but you know, it was a quick read, so yeah, it was good. I liked it. I give it a 3 stars. So my favorite book of May, I would say, it's a toughie. It's either Circus of Wonders, because that was amazing, or Malibu Rising. And I hate to say it, Taylor Jenkins Reid, I love ya, not that she's watching, but I'm going to have to say my book of May was Circus of Wonders by Elizabeth McNeil, because it was just beautiful and fantastic. Now we're going to quickly get on to June. So the first book I read in June was another little... No, it wasn't. Sorry. Back that up. The first book I read in June was Off the Record by Cameron Garrett. I love the cover of this book. I thought this book cover was just gorgeous. I love the way she's like pouting, and her hair, and just like everything, like the whole like newspaper articles on the front. Really interesting book. A lot of like kind of Me Too, hashtag Me Too vibes, and her like a wannabe journalist and writing a story on this, you know, kind of Me Too case. And you know, it was okay, but very predictable. I think that's my issue. When I read a book and I'm kind of like thinking this is going to happen and it does, it kind of ruins it for me. So I only gave it a 3 stars for that reason, but it was good. I did like it. Next book was the little quick read by Louise Candlish called The Skylight. I love Louise Candlish books. They're really great. And I've actually got her new book, The Heights, on pre-ordered from Waterstones website. So that comes out, I think, in a few weeks, possibly, or next month. I can't remember, but it's very soon. And I'm really excited for that one. But yeah, this was really cool. And it's really interesting, like, to think that there's someone watching, like a neighbor watching your every move. And yeah, it's really good. For a little quick read, it was a real good thriller and a really great ending. Like the last page was like, really good. Yeah, really enjoyed it. 5 stars for The Skylight. Love that. Next book. Oh my days. Oh my days. Okay, the next book was by Sarah Crossan and it's called One. So this is the cover that's on Goodreads, but this is not the cover that I had. I had a completely different cover. This book made me cry like a baby. Like, I'm not even joking. I was sitting there on the sofa having a read. And when I got to the end, I won't give any spoilers away, by the way. But yeah, I got to the end and I was just bawling it. Like, I was like, seriously full on. And Nathan's like, "You're all right? What's the matter?" I don't know if anyone's ever had that experience when you're reading a book, but you know, it really touched me. It was about these twins. They're conjoined twins, and Grace and Tippy. And it says here, Grace and Tippy, Tippy and Grace, 2 sisters, 2 hearts, 2 dreams, 2 lives, but 1 body. I'm not even going to go into it, because even thinking about it makes me really emotional. So yeah, if you want to read this book, please do, because it's amazing. I give it 5 stars, but please have a big old box of tissues, because boy, oh boy, you're going to need them. Next book I read was The Whole Truth by Cara Hunter. So this is part of a series. So I didn't realise that at the time. I thought it was just like a standalone thriller. But apparently it's part of the series, the D.I. Adam Fawley series. It's also going to be turned into a TV series, like a crime TV show. So that's pretty cool. I'll definitely be watching. This one's called The Whole Truth. I love the cover, like the champagne glass on the front. It was really, really good. And what I've been doing when I've been going charity shopping, I've been looking for like other Cara Hunter books in the series. I found 2, so I just, you know, keep my eye out looking for them. But this was really good, and it was very interesting how it dealt with like sexual harassment, but instead of it being a man harassing a female, it was a female harassing the male. And it, you know, really, really interesting and twisty and turny. Definitely going to read the rest of the series, because Cara Hunter is an amazing author. I gave that a 5 star. Next up, The Other Black Girl by Zakia Dahlia Harris. Oh, I did not like this book at all. I so wanted to. I had it on pre-order. It turned up. I rushed to read it because I was proper excited. And within the first couple of chapters, I was like, I'm not feeling this book at all. I just wasn't getting it. I was really confused what was going on. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I mean, yeah, I don't know why I didn't like it. I just didn't. You know, there's some books you just think, I just didn't like it. It says here the electric debut. I didn't find it very electric. I just found it really weird and boring, and just, I didn't like the characters. Yeah, so that, I only give it a 1, sorry. Last Chance Angel, Alex Gutteridge was my next read in June. This was like a middle grade book, so, you know, I am too old, mate. I do like, yeah, you know, YA books. I'm cool being a 41-year-old reading YA books. I know a lot of, you know, adults read young adult book, but I think middle grade, you know, it's touch or go for me. There's some middle grade books I've really loved and enjoyed, and wholesome kind of reads, but this one just felt a bit too silly, a bit too young for me. So yeah, it's about this girl who gets run over. She's on her bike, and she has, you know, like, she goes into like a coma, and she has to decide if she wants to like live or die, basically, and go to heaven. And it was just a bit like, Anyway, so I stopped reading that one. The next book I got was The Appeal by Janice Hallett. This was like okay, but basically everything's wrote in like emails. The whole format of the book is email format, which was really weird, and I did kind of get used to the format of reading, but I missed the descriptions. Like, you know, she walks through the snowy trees, or I don't know, whatever. I can't do it on spur of the moment, but do you know what I mean? I missed that description of the stuff. It was just like email, and you can't get a person's feelings and emotion by just reading an email. But anyway, the story was interesting. It was a good thriller, but I don't know, I didn't really enjoy that part of it. Next up, I love this book, Instructions for Dancing by Nicola Yoon. This was excuse me, my first book that I've ever read by Nicola Yoon. I know she's really popular, and I'll definitely read her again. Like, it was really lovely, really sweet, a little bit magical as well, a bit of romance, and I really enjoyed it, and it was just lovely. So I gave that a 4 out of 5. The only reason I didn't give it a 5 was just, I don't know, once again, a little bit predictable, but it was really sweet. Next book was actually a graphic novel that I read, and it was called Anne Frank, like the story of Anne Frank, graphic novel by Jim Pipe. Gave this a 5-star. I mean, as sad as it was so beautifully done and explained well, and I think it's so important that, like, this was a YA graphic novel, but you know, anyone of any age can read it, obviously, but it was just so powerful and sad and beautiful all at the same time. The artwork was brilliant, and you know, especially for young people, we need to keep explaining what happened so it never gets forgotten. Do you know what I mean? So really, really good. Anne Frank, I gave a 5. Another 5 was given to my next book, The Maidens by Alex Michaelides, however you say that, sorry. He did The Silent Patient, which was really good. This one wasn't as good as The Silent Patient for me, but I still really, really loved it. I was like, I couldn't stop reading it. It was really good. I like the fact that it was set kind of like this secret society, very like Donna Tartt themed kind of thing. Yeah, it was good and very twisty. I did not expect the twist at the end. I was like, what? So yeah, it was good. I give it 5 stars. The Maidens. I'll show you the cover to that one. It's pretty cool. So that's one. Next one was an audiobook. I'm really happy. This is the first audiobook that not only I've listened to the whole thing without like skimming it a little bit, but I actually really enjoyed, like, literally. And I don't, as I say, don't really listen to audiobooks that much, but this was so good. It's called My Brother's Name is Jessica by John Boyne. Now, John Boyne is just such an amazing author. He'd done The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, etc. Another very emotional book for me. And I was really sad when I looked up the reviews on this afterwards. I'll just show you that. My Brother's Name is Jessica. Because there were so many like nasty comments and like 1-star ratings, even though people had said, I'm not reading this, but 1 star. Like, I don't know. I just felt the criticism for this book was wrong. I think they kind of took it in the wrong way. This was such a great book and so interesting. And basically it's about this boy and his older brother, is wanting to be a girl. He's always felt like he's a girl, you know, so he's transsexual and he wants to change. And I just think, you know, this basically is the story that comes from the brother of the trans brother, if that makes sense. So he's kind of like, you know, dealing with it as well. And you get like both aspects of it. You know, you get his brother, how he feels, you get the main character, how he feels, you get the family and friends and stuff, and the criticism they face, but also the positivity, the support. You know, some of his relatives are really supportive to him, some of him not so much, and he gets counselling, and he finally, you know, anyway, I won't ruin the story, but it's a very interesting book, and I was very sad to see so much negativity and people saying horrible things about John Boyne, because I actually think he done it in a good, like, done it from a good place, this book, and I found it really interesting and stuff. And I mean, people are saying it's because they don't like it's because like the title is My Brother's Name is Jessica, because the whole trans and gender thing. I do get, I kind of, you know, I do get what they're saying, but it's because of a scene in the book, like the brother finally realizes and finally understands, you know, what's going on and how his brother feels, and that's when he says my brother. It's a really good book, and I was, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very good, very interesting, but you know, everyone's different, everyone has different views, you know, and that's fine. The next book I read was Perfect on Paper by Sophie Gonzalez. She wrote only Mostly Devastated, which I own but I haven't read yet, and I really enjoyed that book. Sorry, sorry, I haven't read that book, but I really enjoyed it. Sorry, rewind. I was like, I really enjoyed this book, but I haven't read the other book. Does that make sense? There we go. Yeah, this one, Perfect on Paper, was just, you know, it was fun. It was just an enjoyable little read. It wasn't anything too, you know, emotional or anything. It's this girl, and she had like she had like a locker in school where she give like mystery advice to people, like love life advice and other parts like advice to people anonymously. And then someone finds out who's doing the anonymous you know, agony aunt letters, and it was an enjoyable read. It wasn't amazing, but it was enjoyable. And as I say, I really want to check out Only Mostly Devastated, because I haven't read that yet. Next book I read in June was, this was so good, Sarah Anderson's Fangs, 5-star for this one. This was a graphic novel. It was only a short little book. It was kind of like a graphic novel stroke comic strip. It's the only way I could describe it. It's about a vampire who falls in love with a werewolf. I know, it's getting a bit weird, but honestly, it was so cute and so good. The graphics was great. Excuse me. It was just so cute. Like, it was just so funny. It was adorable. I loved it. I've kept it, and I'll definitely read it like again and again, because it was just so lovely. So yeah, that's Fangs. I'll show you the cover actually, because it's really cute. You can't really see in that light, but yeah, it's such funny images and story. Anyway, I loved Fangs. Next book I also really loved, True Crime Story by Joseph Knox. Oh wow, this book was freaking awesome. If you like thrillers, check this out. I swear you will not regret it. It's so good. I actually believed that it was a true case. It felt so real that I actually was like looking online trying to find out information about this case, and then I realized it's not real, it's a fiction, but it really felt real. And the author, who I've never read before, but I'll definitely read again now, he puts himself in the story. I can't describe it, you'll have to read it, but it was so cool and just brilliant. So 5 stars for True Crime Story. Really, really good. Next one I read was another Sarah Anderson little comic strip graphic novel book called Adulthood is a Myth. This was really, really funny. It's part of the Sarah Scribbles. There we go, show you the little picture there. Sarah Scribbles series. I definitely want to read the others. What the other one's called? Big Mushy Happy Lump. Herding Cats and Oddball. Oddball looks like me, without a doubt. I'm definitely a bit of an oddball. Look at that. But yeah, really fun. I mean, look, they're not like emotional reads. They're just little funny little things. I enjoyed it. So 5 stars for that. Oh, next up, Libba Bray's Beauty Queen, sorry. That was weird. I mean, that was just, I had to DNF that after like 2 chapters in. It's about these girls, they're beauty pageant girls, and they go to this Caribbean island, I think it is, and their plane crashes, and I don't know, it was just odd. I don't even know, there's pirates, there's women, there's, I don't know, it's just so weird. I didn't like it at all. 2 stars. I don't even know why I give it a 2. That's been quite generous. I should have given it a 1, really. Actually, no, I know why I give it a 2, because even though I thought it was weird and pointless and I didn't enjoy it, I did like the humour. There were some lines in it from some of the characters that was quite like dark, funny humour, which I like, so I got it for that. Next book, yeah, it was okay. The Winds Are Not by S.J. Bennett. So this book here is the first book in the series of, hold on, let me look at, oh, it's called Her Majesty the Queen Investigates. So this is number one. The next one is called A Three Dog Problem. It's just a fun thriller mystery. It's not one of these like serious, dark, gritty thrillers. So if you're thinking it's that, it's not. It was just fun. The only thing I would say, I'd give it a 3-star because I thought it would be more of the actual, you know, Queen investigating and, like, I don't know, getting her corgis and going out on the run looking for criminals. But it was mainly her assistant and her other staff members that done everything for her. So it's kind of like, why is it called The Queen Investigates if everyone else is doing it? But that's my, you know, a few other people had said that on the reviews as well, so I wasn't alone in thinking that. But it, you know, it was okay. I would probably read the second one just to see if it improves and that, but yeah, it was okay. Next book I read was The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. Yeah, I'd never read Maureen Johnson before, apart from, I'd never read like a actual books, but I'd read books that she's done, you know, and she like co-authors in Mortal Instruments series with Cassandra Clare. She's done some like short stories in that, and I loved her writing in those. But this is the first ever actual like book that I've read by Maureen Johnson. It's called Box in the Woods, and it's her new book. So you can read it as a standalone, or you can read it as a series. This is number 4 in the Truly Devious series, and it was really good. Yeah, I give it a 5-star. I was reading it and I kind of thought, oh, this is going to be a 4-star. And then I got to near the end, an amazing twist and random stuff happens. And I was like, oh, that shocked me. So I bumped it up to a 5. So yeah, really, really good. And I think my only thing, I wish I would have read like the trilogy first to kind of get to know these characters more. But there were no spoilers in this. Like there were hints of stuff that had happened in the other books and stuff. But like, you know, if I wanted to read the trilogy, I would, then it wouldn't be ruined for me, if that makes sense. So yeah, 5 stars for that. It was really good. Swimming Lessons, Poems by Lily Reinhardt, or Reinhardt, however she says it, sorry. This is was an audio book that I kind of listened to, but I had to stop listening to because I just found it really depressing, and her voice was like, oh, rah, rah, rah. I just found it just like soul destroying. Like, don't get me wrong, like her poems were beautiful and they were very touching and emotional, but I'm not in a very good head place, like mental health wise at the moment, and listening to very sad, depressing poetry was probably not for me. So that's why I had to kind of not listen to it anymore. But it was good in what it is. Next one I read was Blackout, and this one was a collection of short stories that all happen in one night in New York City, but it's really weird to explain it. Basically, it all happens in one night, but all the authors write a different character's story, and they all kind of like come together in a roundabout way. It's, yeah, anyway, it's really good. Like, I really enjoyed it, but I only give it a 3, but I would have given it a 3.5, but you don't get half points on Goodreads. And the reason I say that is because some of the stories are really, really good, and some of the stories I just found dragged on and on and on and on, and they bored me, and you know, it's kind of a mixture. So I went with like middle ground. I love Nick Stone. I think she's a great author. Tiffany D. Jackson as well, Danielle Clayton, Angie Thomas. Like, you know, you've got some great people of colour. You know, this is all people of colour authors, which is great. They've got together, and, you know, Blackout was cool. Like, I did enjoy it, but as I say, some of the stories did kind of drag on a little bit, in my opinion. And the last book I read, actually, no, this is July. It is officially the last book I read, but this will go on for next month's reading wrap-up, so I won't say. But I'll literally tell you a second. It was The Final Girls Support Group by Grady Hendrix. That was the book that I've just finished. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. It's, yeah, anyway. I don't know what to say, just bizarre. What a bizarre book. Definitely not what I thought it was going to be, unfortunately. Anyway, so that's the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed the first part, my TBR. I hope you've enjoyed the second part with all like the games and stuff. And I hope you've enjoyed this long old reading wrap up. And as I say, I wouldn't normally do it like this. I normally do a separate, you know, end of month reading wrap up. But like, it's just been a tough few months, and reading has been my, you know, my everything, like just to kind of like unwind, relax, switch off, and just escapism, you know. And some days I found it difficult to read when I was so stressed I couldn't concentrate. I also had a few like really bad headaches. I had a migraine, so that kind of stopped me reading for a couple of days. But I still managed to get quite a lot of books done in the last few months. And as I say, I've got quite a big old TBR ready for July, so we'll see how that goes. And this is going to be my next one. So wish me luck, the great Godden. Yellow sprayed edges, baby. Anyway, listen, thank you for watching. Please click like, comment, share, subscribe. Don't forget to check out MinxLaura123 ASMR, my other YouTube channel, which I hope you enjoy. And come and follow me on Goodreads, links down below. Also the links to Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. So yeah, let me know in the comments section down below what you are currently reading. If you've got any books coming out soon that you're really excited about, that kind of thing, just let me know in the comments section. I love reading your comments. The book that I'm actually most excited about, like genuinely, like, you know, wanting to do a happy dance, is the sequel to The Golem and the Djinn. That comes out, I don't know when, it's really soon. Let's have a quick look here. No, that's the weather. I was like, what? It's not books. By Helen Wecker, or Recker. I don't know if she says Wecker or Recker. Let's have a look here, see if I can find it quick. No, that's not her. That's not that. Hold on. Ah, okay. Right, so the first one, Golem and the Djinn. The second one, that was it. It's called The Hidden Palace. And it's already out in America, which is really annoying. But I think it comes out at like the end of July. I've got it on pre-order. You know that. It's going to be a big old book, though. It's going to be massive. There's the cover. I don't think the cover's that great. I think the cover's a wee bit boring. But it is what it is. I mean, maybe we'll get a different cover here in the UK. I don't know. But yeah, I'm really excited for that. Like, oh my days, that's going to be... If you've not read The Golem and the Djinn, like, seriously, check it out. It's just so amazing. The connection between the Golem and the Djinn and everyone around them and the magic and the just like the history and the spiritualism and just like everything. It's so good. So I'm really excited for number 2. Anyway, I'm going to go now. Thank you for watching and I'll see you soon. Happy reading. Bye.